YouTube, welcome to the channel. I'm trying to give an update on electric sailboat things here. At the end of the shaft work video, I think it was, I said, no problem, maybe I'll insert the clip. I was concerned based on the wear that it was out by a lot. It's not out by a lot, so nothing drastic needs to be done. Well, there's a problem. And I got pieces and parts, but I need a machine shop to help continue putting this together. The yard doesn't have the either the equipment or the skills to fix these things for me. So I have some other video I shot earlier in the summer, sort of when I found out that this was going to be necessary, and then the summer went by and I haven't done anything to complete getting the shaft work done, and I'm starting to work on it now, but I wanted to, I'll put in the other video that I already shot about taking out the cutlass bearing and about trying to do the alignment, but where I left off at the end of the shaft video was that I felt like I had enough adjustment in order to take the misalignment out. Just have to adjust. All of these have adjustments, so we just have to adjust until we get that just right. And so I worked with it, and what I found out was the way I had it put together, I could get it aligned the way that I wanted it, but there wasn't enough thread left to actually put the washers and the lock washers and the nuts on the top of the motor mount bolts. So it had to be adjusted so high on the motor mount bolts that I could not actually tighten it into place. So I've got some video of adjusting the mounting bracket I got from Thunderstruck. I have some video showing how I moved that to another position that changes the whole geometry of the motor mounts and gives me enough bolt to use. And along the way I figured out that you'll see the problems with the cutlass bearing was wearing because the shaft was cocked in there at a strange angle, and that was because the shaft coupler had actually twisted on the shaft itself. So in one direction it was okay, in the forward direction it wasn't a bad thing, but in the reverse direction I had noticed that it was difficult to make the motor run in the reverse direction. I hadn't really ever investigated it fully, but it was actually binding in reverse, and that's why it was so much harder. I had to get to a higher RPM, a higher amperage, higher RPM in reverse in order to make the shaft turn. So I thought perhaps I just didn't install it properly, but the diameter of the coupling versus the shaft left enough room for it to wobble on there. So the solution to that, I have gone with a new shaft coupler. And if you've looked into this yourself, you quickly find out that most boats have a transmission which includes, as you know, it has a coupling as part of its shaft basically. So this situation we're in with the Thunderstruck with two shafts that have to be put together, we need two couplings. So General Propeller had these, and so they're the same size, 4-bolt pattern, everything matches, but these couplings are right now undersized. I need these to be 1 inch, and that's going to take a machine shop to get them to the exact size. And what they told me was they provide these undersized because who knows what the actual tolerance on the shaft is. So that will have to be measured carefully by the shop, and they'll get these turned. So that what will happen, this is a male and a female, so these fit up snugly one way, and when these are cut to fit the shaft, there won't be any room for wobble in here at all. This will, so with the motor and the mount firmly in place, and then there's no motion in here anymore. The chain coupler had some motion in it. There won't be any motion in here. And other than concerns about shaft alignment, the real reason I want to make sure I take any movement out of the shaft is I'm also changing to the dripless shaft seal, and that's it's a carbon ring with a stainless steel disc that runs on the ring. So when those get mated up flush, I want to make sure that they stay that way as the shaft rotates. So any oblong motion or any kind of wobble in the shaft would probably make the stainless steel coupling sort of bounce on the I guess it's graphite, whatever the material is that the ring is that it runs on, and that would cause leaks, of course. So this is where it is at the process of getting to a machine shop to get these couplings sized up. That's where it is. That's why the boat's not back in the water. There hasn't been any sailing videos because we're still working on it. But I'll had this update, and I'll now attach the video I have showing the other steps that I've done in trying to work out getting the cutlass bearing worked out and working on that end of things with the shaft. Okay, and thanks for being here, and I hope we get some sailing videos before all the nice weather goes away. Normally September and October are the best times to be out there sailing, so let's see what we can do. Okay, thanks, bye. In an effort to improve the alignment, I'm going to move these cross members from this setting down to this setting, and that's going to allow for more travel on the motor mounts. So this was the setting that it's been at. I'm going to move it here, and then I'll be able to drop the motor mounts all the way to the bottom of their travel, and then lift from there to get the angle on the shaft that we're going for. And I will take some pictures of the cutlass bearing to show why I'm doing it this way. This is the cutlass bearing. And there was a shaft alignment problem. I'm going to take the shaft out so we can see what was going on here. I took the shims out, so now the shaft is free to move, and you can see it's sitting. So just gravity has it sitting on the bottom of that. And then if we look back here, we can see how it's out of alignment in the cutlass bearing. So it's too low here, not really touching up here. And in the back it was too high and not really touching down here. It's just misaligned. But what happens to the cutlass bearing is it wears funny. So it was worn away on the bottom part here, and same situation, worn away at the top. these two little set screws, so I've got to work on getting those out. And I don't know if it'll slide out or not. They tend to get stuck in there, so I might have to cut it out with a hacksaw. I don't want to put any pressure on this and loosen up this, so I don't want to bang on it and cause any damage to how it attaches up here where it's bolted. So can either try to press it out, or I'll probably just take a hacksaw. That's how I got it out last time, and just cut down the length of the bearing, cut it into a couple of pieces, and then knock the pieces out. And have a new bearing that I'll slide in there and cut to length, and we're going to work to get the shaft alignment better so that it doesn't wear this way again. So we just looked at the cutlass bearing, and the wear on the cutlass bearing is what we're trying to address with this. So this shaft connects via a coupler to the shaft that goes out to the propeller, and the angle, when I put this together the first time, the boat was in the water, so I wasn't really able to check all of these things. I just had it so it looked pretty good, and it worked okay, but I did notice some noise in it over time, and now that I'm out of the water I can see that it was misaligned. And we're going to work harder this time, since we can see everything, to get the alignment better, and then it should run smoother, run quieter, and won't wear the cutlass bearing. And this is what we have reassembled. Used to be up here, down here, and again this is going to allow me to set the travel on the motor mounts in the boat all the way to the lowest setting, and then I'll lift this whole assembly with that adjustment in order to get the shaft alignment that I'm looking for. Alright, this worked out reasonably well. I cut that slice through the old bearing with a hacksaw blade, just insert it down the center, and that relieves the pressure and get the old cutlass bearing out.